Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Fiddle Faddle, aka our podcast, talking Daredevil Born Again. That's right, we're back for episode 4. I am one of your hosts, Sasha Joseph, joined with the Jason Reed. He's back. We're back. The Punisher to my Daredevil? Question mark.
Listen, I think the
Fisk.
chemistry is right there.
I think you're Fisk.
I'm Fisk. Oh my gosh.
You're like the like baddie, but like everyone likes him too much.
When I was a boy,
Yeah, see?
my father taught me never to trust a Latvian.
Okay, I'm the Latvian. I'm just kidding.
Listen, no, we here at We Know Scripted TV respect all Latvians. We love
Period.
Latvian culture. We love Latvian heritage. The views of Wilson Fisk do not reflect the views of We Know Scripted TV. We are Latvian fans. Listen, I feel like they could have very easily snuck in like a Doctor Doom Easter egg real quick and been like Latvarian instead of Latvian.
Oh, that's funny. See, this is
Yeah.
why you get paid the big bucks.
Hey, like that's why Marvel doesn't pay me at all. But hey, we could have snuck in a Doctor Doom Easter egg just to know that Latveria is part of the world. You could have easily just like done Latveria instead of Latvia, Doctor Doom's home country or whatever. But listen, that's beside the point. Episode 4, almost halfway through with the season. Still no Daredevil in my Daredevil Born Again.
Someone make like a counter for Jason.
Yeah,
Daredevil.
0 days since
many?
we've seen the Punisher, or however many days. It's been weeks. 4 weeks since we've seen Daredevil. 4 weeks still without a Daredevil sighting on Daredevil Born Again. People may be annoyed at me for keep bringing that up, but I feel like it's an important point. There's no Daredevil in my Daredevil. Let me just point that out. And this episode kind of, a lot was going on. There were many storylines. Whiplash is not only an Iron Man villain, it is the way I felt with all these storylines ping-ponging me around, where we're going from one moment a kind of like a workplace comedy in the Mayor Fisk stuff to emotional, heart-wrenching moments with Frank, social commentary with Leroy. It just feels like there's so much going on in these episodes, but it's all kind of a mishmash. It doesn't feel like a linear story. It doesn't feel like it feels like many things kind of thrown together at once. So it's not feeling cohesive to me with all these storylines that are happening with the same character. Sometimes the storylines are so divergent and so different in one episode.
Yes. And again, if we really wanted, could we do through lines for every single thing? Of course. Systemic injustice.
Yes.
Immediately. We can talk about that, right? People, anti-heroes or bad people trying to change for the better. Yeah. Yes, that's an easy story. Like, way to tie it all. We're not saying like if you try really hard, you can't do it. It's just really interesting how they're trying to like do a collage of all these different scenes that I felt were important, right? Like Mayor Fisk's life. Because if I hear we built this city one more time, I am flipping the table.
Listen, and let me hear me. Yeah. Hear what I'm saying. There are good things to mine in all of these storylines. There are fun things, or heart-wrenching things, like the built this city gag. I chuckled. I really, really did.
So good.
When Fisk is like hearing the kids sing, and he's like, "Oh, very good." And then the way he's like, "We got it." He's like, "Oh no, we're good, we're good." And then he goes and hears it again. And that actually did make me laugh out loud. But for the most part, the Mayor Fisk stuff is just not working for me.
Did you think it almost could have worked, right? When he's like, bring everyone together and let's have a conversation. I thought, yes, shit's about to go crazy. Kingpin is back, baby. I know.
Yeah. It started to feel like rejected storylines off of Parks and Rec. Like, that's just kind of what it felt like. It was like, I don't really care that much about city infrastructure and how Fisk wants to redo Red Hook. I don't really care. What I want to see Mayor Fist do is the promise of going after vigilantes and how he's doing that, because that ties us directly to our main figure, Daredevil, and may bring in more interesting characters. Instead, we're talking about revitalizing Red Hook and structural change and the red tape. I'm just like, I just don't really care. Like it's falling flat for me.
And can I just say, because we, as two people of color, I just feel like, and specifically, like, you are a Black man in America. Neither one of us need to like constantly be reminded when we're watching a show that systemic injustices exist. And I don't mean this as like crass as it's about to sound, but like it felt a little basic, right? Like, okay, it exists. There was a line specifically where we meet a new defendant for Matt Murdock and Leroy, and right, he says, "Oh, they'd rather spend more money like keeping me in than feeding me." Yeah, yes, that's how this works, and like I appreciate all of these conversations. Then I think let's just go deep, right? Like let's actually talk about systemic injustice then. Because the way we were introduced to Angela Del Toro, right? Like there was so many times where I was like, oh, we're about to go there. And then it just felt like, okay, we talked about it. And Jason, because I can't wait until to talk about it. Scrolls
were mentioned, so that kind of tells, like, so Secret Invasion has happened in this world, so Secret Invasion is a thing. I don't know, like, we still don't know where the world is with Secret Invasion. Did Secret Invasion actually happen as a part of canon? It's supposed to be, but I think Marvel has decided that we're just gonna kind of sweep it under the rug. But yes, scrolls were mentioned. I think that's really fun, and I would love to talk about the legal complications of scrolls in the real world. We'll talk about that when we get there. But
yeah, and don't you feel like, again, these were the moments though that we could have dove deep into and maybe sacrificed a few other storylines. That's all I think we're trying to say. Like if we're gonna go there, let's go there. And if we're not gonna go there, fine, let's not. That's all at least I'm trying to say. And let's not forget the whole scroll conversation about is weird, because in Captain American Winter Soldier, two Black men having the conversation about what it means to be Black in America, and then one of them is a squirrel? Question mark. The hell?
Yeah, well, yeah, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the Disney Plus series. Yeah, and then to have that conversation and now know that Rhodey was probably a scroll. So that's another thing that's like,
if we're gonna do injustice, let's do injustice and not like dilute it. That's all. Okay. Sorry, but let's start at the start, okay? Because y'all know us, we crazy.
We're like the show. We're ping ponging back and forth on all the storylines. Let's start at the beginning and work our way through.
And you are used to it. So of course, we immediately wrap up the cliffhanger where Hector Ayala, White Tiger, is of course dead. DEAD, dead. So he is dead, and they're laying out during what we think is the autopsy, or at the coroner's office, but they're laying out all his artifacts. And I thought it was really interesting that they keep zooming in on his amulet.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the amulet, like there were people getting my hopes up in the break between last week and this week of like, maybe the amulet would give him some healing powers, or maybe he's not really dead. I was like, ooh, like maybe Hector's actually alive. No, he dead. He gone. But yeah, we're focusing on the White Tiger amulet. We haven't, and part of my gripe last week was that we still haven't seen the White Tiger amulet at work, right? We're told that this amulet has magical properties. We're told that the wearer of the amulet can do special things. Show me the proof. I still haven't seen it. I haven't seen anyone wear the amulet and have special powers. If you're going to present something that has, hey, this is a special thing that does special stuff, prove it.
But not if you're shot in the head.
But still, like I would have loved to see one sequence, one moment where Hector has the amulet on and doing his White Tiger thing with the amulet being powerful, but we didn't get that. But yeah, we get all his personal belongings laid out on the table, and the amulet's there. And yeah, it's really really sad to kind
It's
of see.
again, I was like, bring him back. Let him fight once, please. But we've already said this last week, so I know y'all are annoyed just as much as we are. So we then, of course, get Matt Murdock. Like, he is trying to figure out, right? Like, oh, feeling dejected, struggling to figure out his place in the world as someone that like wants to be in full-on lawyer mode and not lawyer vigilante mode. So he's like, I fully want to be that. And then we meet Angela Del Toro,
Yes.
who is Hector's niece. And, you know, Matt Murdock is like in between, right? Like in his like little playing a violin for himself, really feeling sad about like that he did a good deed, but then it didn't work out. Like, duh, it didn't work out. And then Angela comes in. She's pissed the hell off. She said, and this is what I really like, because she's going off about how she's mad at the system. She's really frustrated with how the NYPD specifically, right? People with the Punisher tattoos are responsible, or allegedly responsible for her uncle's murder. And, you know, everyone's like favorite lawyer is coming to defend.
Yeah.
But were you in on it? And I actually really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
That
I don't know.
insinuation.
I don't know how old Angela is supposed to be. She looks like she could be like 12 to
Correct.
15 or so. But I loved her. Like, she was awesome.
Yes.
Like, she came in, she called a spade a spade. She's like, these fucking cops, they're dirty. She's like, I hate this city. Like, no one's gonna do anything about these cops. And like Matt's trying to console her. She's like, nah, bro, like F this, F all that. And listen, for those that don't know the comic continuity, Angela Del Toro in the comics does at some point become White Tiger. So it's just like, is that happening? I almost thought that when she was like hugging Matt, she was like stealing the amulet off of him out of the evidence bag.
Again, that would have given me enough reason for that scene to happen.
Yeah. So like that, I love the introduction of Angela, because we only got a shot of her in the courtroom last episode. But I love the introduction of her, and it really makes me wonder where we're going, right?
Guess how old, if this is the actress, Camila Rodriguez. I think this is TikTok star, question mark. I don't know if that's her.
Well, I mean, you know,
is 26?
No. Can't be.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it can't be. Please someone tell me.
Can't be.
Anyway.
If she's 26, that is quite a feat.
That's great. No, I take it back. It has
crazy.
To be someone else.
But I loved her introduction. It really made me wonder and think, like, where are we going with this character, and when are we going to get there? Because I feel like it's only a matter of time before she gets the amulet, and the question is, where is she going to fall into the lineup in the MCU, right? Because we all know the Young Avengers has been looming in the background for years at this point. We've gotten some movement on it in the recently, but it's like it's this slowly forming thing. And every young hero we see come in one of these properties, we're like, oh, Young Avengers, they're going to be Young Avenger. It feels like we have like about 12 or 13 Young Avengers at this point. So I'm just wondering.
Immediately I said they told me Young Avengers wasn't a thing. Look at this.
And so it's whether it's Young Avengers or Champions, whatever they're going to call it. It's just like, when is that going to happen? Are we getting introduction of Angela to become a Young Avenger or Champion? Is she going to at some point, either this season or season 2, get the White Tiger stuff, and maybe Matt's going to train her? Matt's going to help her become who she is. I don't know, but it feels like it should be something that's coming at some point. It feels like it would be a hard thing to accomplish this season because you have so much going on. So it might be a season 2 thing, but I feel like the introduction of Angela and how and really her character and her personality was, I feel like it's a great stepping in point to show how tenacious she is and how fed up she is, to really kind of give her inspiration to become the White Tiger.
Yeah, I just think it's going to be really exciting to see this young person come with so much grit already. And it's unfortunate that her character is going to have so much frustration, right? Like, she shares, no one cares about us in the Heights. Like, we are forgotten.
Yeah.
And this is how she rises. So let's see that.
Yeah. And honestly, if this was if this was an 18 episode arc,
yes,
if this was an 18 episode season the way that it was intended to be, then I feel like we could get there by the end of a season of 18 episodes. But since we're doing 9 and 9, we might have to wait until season 2. And now there is like with the muse of it all coming in the comics, Muse, like Daredevil has a young, like there's a point in comics when Muse is introduced, Daredevil has a young sidekick. His name is Blind Spot in the comics. Muse is the villain that really, really like does some heinous, I'm not going to spoil it, but it does some heinous stuff to Blind Spot. So I think that would be so interesting to if White Tiger was taking the Blind Spot mantle, the being like Daredevil's young sidekick, and then something awful happens to her, that I think that would have been a great adaptation, but I just don't see it here. But I
don't want that to a young kid either.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I just can't wait for whatever White Tiger is going to be, because it feels like it's inevitable. Because the female White Tiger, Angela Del Toro, is the White Tiger that I'm most familiar with.
Yes, same.
So like I really want to see like when they're going to bring that in.
Yeah. So I'm excited. So let's see. Again, I just also want to like echo that if this was an 18 episode arc, I think I would be less down on this episode for like spending a lot of time without Daredevil. And I would been cool with like, okay, Matt Murdock. Like we get lore, really interesting world building stuff. So and that's what I'll say about
it. And to talk about that, like I'm not going to shut up about it. And talk about a little bit the fact that there's no Daredevil here, and it kind of feels like I just want a season of Daredevil where Matt is Daredevil and he doesn't have to deal with the trauma and the duality. I just want him to have like a peaceful moment where he's Daredevil, he's fine with it, he's confident in it, he's not having any doubts or guilt.
We're never gonna get from Daredevil.
Yeah, because it feels like every season he's like, should I be Daredevil? I don't know if I should be Daredevil, this or that. I just want a full season of Daredevil where he is Daredevil from beginning to end, and there's no like, I'm gonna stop being Daredevil, because I feel like we had that struggle with him every single season. I would like to find a season where we just have like a straight good run of time where he's just Daredevil, he's completely fine with it.
Yep. And I think we have to watch She-Hulk for that. But
yeah, that is a great representation of Daredevil.
That's the last time we saw like a happy, like
he's a swag. He's a swaggering Daredevil. He's a ladies' man in the suit. He is confident. He is almost joyous as Daredevil. Yes. We just have not really gotten that.
And this is why, like, this is why I understand that this is a continuation of, like, technically of the Netflix series, but I feel that this is why it feels like we're starting over in a lot of ways, because he's like struggling, and I think this is an interesting time also to talk about his faith, right? Like he's Catholic, and a big piece of Matt Murdock Daredevil is that like he's constantly fighting with like his faith, doing the right thing, the wrong thing, whatever that may mean. I think then let's lead into it. Let's bring religion in and talk about it. I'm always excited, y'all know, to talk about like this kind of gritty religious implications of it. And we saw that a lot in the Netflix show. But I feel like we're not getting, now that I've said this out loud, we're just not getting enough internal dialogue on what's actually happening with Matt Murdock.
And I feel like the loss of both Foggy and a loss of the father that he was like kind of giving his confession to, because the father he was giving his confession to died very memorably in the last season of the Netflix show. It really feels like Matt doesn't have anyone to bounce off of, like, and
that's have a conscience, nothing. Yeah,
and that's why it feels like in this meeting with Frank we get later, it feels like that's really the first time he's really been able to really speak freely and to really let it out, because there's really no one, because Foggy would have been that person, and Foggy would have been readily available for him to kind of bounce his feelings and thoughts off of. And of course the feelings and thoughts he's having with Frank is about Foggy, so it'd be tough to talk to Foggy about Foggy. But yeah, we're not really like, I don't really, what was missing for me in the White Tiger of it all in this episode when we open up, I'm not really feeling Matt's grief and how Matt feels responsible for White Tiger. Even the meeting with Frank was mostly about Foggy. It wasn't even about Hector. It's like, how do you feel about Hector? How do you feel about the fact that you are partially responsible for Hector dying because you are the one that outed him. We don't really get that. That's what I was missing.
And this is where Angela, I think, right, says it. Where she's like, and you got him out, question mark. What was that? But you didn't save him. That's great. She again started the conversation.
It didn't go anywhere.
Fully, let's like fully get his literally a confessional type scene where he's talking to someone about it. But I guess that's the whole point. Like he has no one to turn to, and he's just burning inside.
Because that would have been a Foggy or a Karen conversation to say, like, I feel super guilty about this, and like I don't know how to move on from the guilt I feel about this, that, and the other thing. But we don't really get that conversation from him really anywhere in this episode. It really felt missing to me because I felt like I was going to come into this episode and Matt was just going to be really just torn up. He was going to be just on a rampage, maybe.
Oh my god, that's exactly what I wanted. Yeah, like him just frustrated, screaming, being outlandish. And then I thought Fisk would that's where Kingpin has to come back in to be like, sit your ass down. Like I told
you. But Matt's very just like calm and kind of matter of factly about everything going on with White Tiger. It felt tone deaf to me in those moments.
Yeah, and I think that's where things are happening to him instead of our main character kind of being in driver's seat. So I'm so glad we talked through this because that's where my irritation is coming from. Wow, look at us. Therapy. And of course, what else is missing is the bullet. We don't know what actually killed White Tiger, as in the literal thing that killed him. We don't know. So we're on the hunt for it. And the coroner was rude AF and was like, if it ain't in the room, I don't care about it. Oh, damn.
Not my job.
Like we literally, the system is just like effing us on all ends is what this is showing us. And you know what? Too close to home. All right. So, of course, now we need to kind of move on from that, but still stay on track of the system is fucked. Piece where Matt gets a call from Kirsten where they now have the next defense case is ready to go. And it seems like money problems might be happening.
I do not speak legalese. I do not speak corporate. I was just like, what are they talking about? They're like, the revolver is low, the this, the that. I was like, huh? Like what? But from what I gathered, they do a certain amount of pro bono work for the state, and that's what this is because they are their own practice, but they also partner with the state to do to work some of the state cases. So I was like, okay, like I guess to work kind of like a public defender in a way. So I was like, all right, cool, I got that. I was not sure. Like he was like, we're gonna have to go out for an associate, like the revolvers. I'm like, huh? Like I didn't get that part.
Lincoln Lawyer. I watched it already.
So that they kind of lost me on that, but at the end it was okay. So he has to take this kind of public defender pro bono case.
I was like, I just gotta I was like, nope, we just gonna be in the backseat hanging out, vibing for the lawyery stuff. Which I like lawyer shows. I want to make it clear. Fine, let's just go there. So another also I wanted to say just a shot because I've just been so into how they've shot this show where Matt and Kirsten, when they were both talking, like they were the only person in the scene and it felt so empty and alone for both of them. So I just thought it was like a very interesting cold like space that they're both occupying.
Yeah, I mean, it's too bad we don't really know anything about Kirsten to know if that's how she's feeling, or it feels like Kirsten is a very underdeveloped character. So they've really yet to really kind of dig into her and what she's about, which is interesting. Why they like you said they focus so much on her apartment and like how sparse it was.
Yeah, and of course the case was assigned to for a man named Leroy, who's a repeat offender and has been arrested on charges of petty larceny. We meet Leroy. Leroy is pissed off, fed up.
Leroy
does not give a damn.
Leroy wants his fiddle faddle and he wants it now. He wants 5 boxes of it. We meet Leroy as he getting arrested for stealing the fiddle faddle, and the freaking cops are like, taking the fiddle faddle and eating the fiddle faddle, which is like, isn't that like technically evidence tampering? Like, should you really be eating the
They
evidence
don't
that
get
they don't give a crap?
crooked. These cops are crooked as crooked comes.
Yeah, so like Leroy has multitudes, right? As we're going to learn in this in our introduction to Leroy and throughout this whole thing, because he off jump is making fun of Matt because Matt is blind. I was like, damn, this dude is harsh. This dude is something.
He is so pissed off. You can tell that he's like, oh, the system is so messed up. They hate me so much that they're sending me like quote unquote a less than perfect lawyer because that's all they see me as, right? Like a cog in the system. And meanwhile, I'm like, that's a Daredevil, you idiot. What is wrong with you? But right, I get it. We can't say that.
Yeah, I was kind of almost wish they would have given Leroy more ammunition to throw at Matt. Be like, oh, aren't you the guy that got White Tiger killed? Like, I wish that he would have like put that in there.
Didn't you get your last client killed? I
like,
saw it on the bodega news.
That's the lawyer. That's the lawyer they're sending me. The guy that got his client killed last time.
To me, that's how I would have done it, right? Be like, oh, look who they sent me, y'all. The blind guy that got someone killed. You know, like, again, let's go for it. That's all we're doing. That's a theme of this podcast at this point.
For sure. Yeah, and then Leroy, like, you know, is just like Matt's confronting him, and Leroy's like, at first Leroy's just like, I didn't do it. Like, it must have been a scroll. I was like, oh, perfect. Like, could you imagine in a world of scrolls where you would have to throw out every case because there's going to be reasonable doubt because there are scrolls out there in the world. We know there are scrolls. It's like, I don't know, Judge. I just woke up in a pod yesterday. The scrolls must have taken my identity and done all that stuff because I've been out of commission for like a couple years. Those were scrolls that stole that car, not me. You would have to throw out every single case.
So good. Again, hilarious writing. Like, shout out to the writers. I feel like they're doing their job. And here's the thing, Jason. I feel like all Matt Murdock says is no, that's not no, we can't use that. I don't think we could frankly expect them to like write this, but would have loved like here's what happened, and here, like, oh, we've now fixed the scroll problem, I guess is what we're supposed to infer from it, that like scrolls are, you know, the justice system knows.
Yeah, or I would have loved like a moment where Matt's like, yeah, he tried to use a scroll defense again, because like I'm sure in a world of scrolls, they've heard that several times. Like, oh, it wasn't me, it was a scroll. Like, yeah, he tried to use the old scroll defense on me, of course. So I would have loved also some additions of that.
Yes, and Marvel, I feel like, is so scared to use its own properties again. Like, I don't understand. Like, we could have got funny She-Hulk, right? Like moments when we're making fun of Matt, you know, and like how he's a player, right? Or, oh, am I not big enough for you, right? Like, it could be anything. Scrolls, such a good tie into a legal show, but fine, we're not doing it. Anti-Secret Invasion, hot mess express, so I get it. We'll forget about it too. And of course, Leroy is like, no, you need to get me out on parole. I just don't want to be dealing with any of this, and not really taking any accountability for his actions.
Yeah, and at first it's really complex because you hear Leroy talking to Matt, and he's being kind of indignant. He's just like, listen, I'm not taking no jail time. I will take probation, and that is it. He is basically demanding of Matt to go in there, give me probation. I'm not doing any jail time. This is ridiculous. At first, you're just like, Leroy, bro, like, what is your problem, dude? Like, you stole the freaking fiddle faddle. You did it. And it's like, he says, well, I paid them last week. Like, bro, are you trying to argue the fiddle faddle layaway plan? Like, is that what you're doing here? Is that what you're saying? So at first, and I admit, I was just like, Leroy, bro, like, what is your problem, dude?
Yeah.
Like, and then we get more into it. I was like, yeah, like, fuck, like Leroy is right. Like, Leroy is like, once we get more into it, it's like, yeah, like, this is ridiculous. It was just fiddle faddle, and this man's gonna go to jail for 10 days for fiddle faddle.
And it's funny because fiddle faddle, it is also the name for like nonsense.
Yeah, and it's such a great way to undercut the seriousness and tension of it by introducing the fiddle faddle, which, I mean, listen, fiddle faddle is a real product. It is a real snack, but it's such a great way to kind of like like I said, undercut the tension, undercut the seriousness by introducing fiddle faddle to the proceedings. So that was really, really great, and it really kind of introduced us to a complex problem. My only problem was the dismount of it, because we go into this issue because Matt goes into the state's attorney, district attorney, whatever you want to call it, Sonia, who, listen, I've seen multiple scenes of Heather and Matt at this point, his love interest. But let me tell you something. When Matt and Sonia were going up against each other, I saw electricity, sparks. I was like, damn, like
I say you're cheating.
Yeah. Well, listen, Matt in the comics is also a known kind of flirt, ladies man, like type of guy. Like he's a charming guy. I wouldn't say it's cheating. I would say he's using his charm
to
and you would get what he wants. Listen, I'm happily married. I don't have charm. I don't have Riz. Okay.
Comments tell him otherwise.
Matt's got the Riz. Okay. Matt has the Riz and he's going to use it to get what he wants. So that's what he did here. And I was like, damn, like Sonia and Matt, like they got some electricity. I have not felt that out of Matt and Heather. I'll tell you that much. I'm just like, I'm not really feeling the sparks with Matt and Heather the way I feel with Sonia.
When you know someone for so long and you have that flirt mance, I think it's so different.
Yeah.
Because he basically just flirts his way to getting a 10-day sentence.
Yeah, because they negotiate and I think Matt is like very proud of himself that he has like he's heard from Leroy that Leroy will not take anything but probation, but Matt is like, I got this down to 10 days. Like that is a freaking miracle, bro. And Leroy's just like, nope, still not taking it. It's probation or it's nothing. It's like, damn, bro, like you did it. And then he explains, he's just like, listen, it's fiddle faddle. They're going to spend double what the fiddle faddle costs to lock me up for stealing fiddle faddle, for eating, for daring to want to eat a nice treat. Yes, I stole it, but it's fiddle faddle. It's 5 boxes of fiddle faddle. And yeah.
You know what this also reminds me of, like real world, right? Where like if you're fostering a child, you will get paid, right? Like an X amount of money per month, but you will not get money if you're low income and have children.
Right.
And but the system will take your kid and then give it to someone else and then pay that person.
Yes. Well, this episode focuses on how a lot of our systems are broken, right?
Yes.
And this is a big part of that, where even Sonia and Matt have a conversation of like, how does recidivism work? Like, how do consequences work? Do blocking people up for longer and longer amounts of time, does it actually work to make them recriminalize less? Studies show it doesn't. Right? They have this little pseudo conversation, and then we get more into it when Leroy talks about the fact that he last time he was in jail, he missed out on his SSI benefits. He missed out on his food stamps. So, and it's a cycle. Because he missed out on those food stamps, he was forced to go dumpster diving. He was forced to go stealing. So it's kind of like this crazy cycle where you're kind of caught up in it. And so like the way Leroy explained it is just like, yeah, like that makes a whole lot of sense. And, it really makes you think. The problem I have is, are we going to continue that conversation?
Yeah.
Is Matt at the end of it, Matt's like, you know what? You're right. So was that it? Are we going to come back to Leroy at some point? Or is this just kind of a, see, like is this kind of like
just another,
like the more like we did a PSA for y'all, and see, we think about social activism, we think about how things are, just to kind of show you that we're thinking about it. It felt by the end of it felt a little performative. It felt a little like see, we think about all of you, like we are socially conscious. So if it continues in other episodes for Matt to try and affect any change, that'd be great. Do I think it's going to happen? No, I don't.
I think have too much to cover.
Yeah, I think this was part of the legal procedural that they were trying to create in the original conceit of the show. And I do think this is going to get dropped, and it's going to feel like just a blip on the radar when they were just like, going
much
to come
like New York. Yeah.
Right. They're going to try and touch on this social topic because it's kind of a buzzword of the moment, and then kind of leave it alone, which feels, like I said, it feels performative.
Yeah. And I think all a vehicle for Matt Murdock to give up being just a lawyer and go
Mhm.
back to like actually trying to fix a broken system.
Right. And it doesn't feel like they're gonna do that. It doesn't feel like
No.
Matt's going to try and fix the system that he now realizes is broken, because he just now realized that, which is also hard to believe. So it's just like it felt inauthentic to me.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't feel, it felt a little forced. So I'll say that. Yeah, it just doesn't feel like Leroy thing's gonna go anywhere. And listen, I appreciate, because in the Netflix series, I felt like it was kind of missing a lot of the lawyering. Like, we had a lot
Yeah.
of superheroing, not a lot of lawyering. Now it feels like we have a lot of lawyering without any superheroing. So I feel like I would really love to find a balance of superheroing and lawyering. Or honestly, for all the faults of She-Hulk had a good balance of superhero and lawyering.
Mm-hmm.
So
We
I
were
feel like
getting She-Hulk while she was a lawyer.
yeah. So it's it's interesting to get that side of Matt, but I would like a balance between Matt and Daredevil.
Yeah. Fair. And of course, after that, now, let's pause on like Matt Murdock trying to, fix this city, to building the city. And we start with Fisk, who is, we know, like, they're on a verge of divorce from his wife, Vanessa Fisk. And we're at the therapist. We're with Heather. And they're sitting closer, I think, together than we've seen before, but they're immediately arguing, right? About like what happened or what didn't happen, blah, blah, blah. And then we get the setup to Adam, rather, I should say, or Vanessa. And Vanessa's crazy. Like she blood, no, ice in her veins, okay? Because she just goes, ugh. Then Adam and his hands, he's an art. He's artist, right? Like it was like finding whatever, something, a really expensive painting at a garage sale, blah, 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 right? Like he wasn't part of my husband's world. She's just going in. And I said, girl, I know he's dead because look how you're talking about him.
She is going ham on Fisk being like, oh my God, you are no Adam. Because Adam is just,
That's
art,
my
that
man, is how
that
she was
man,
saying it.
yeah, that man inspires me with his artistry. Like you could never, Wilson, you could never. I love his hands. It's like, oh my God. Like, I love how like Heather, they're having this session, and Heather's like, all right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's talk about Adam. And Fisk is like, no, I don't want to talk about Adam. They're like let's talk about the affair. He's like, I hate that word. It sounds like a dinner party. It was a betrayal. And and Vanessa, rightfully so, is like, bruh, you were gone. I had no idea where you were or if you were coming back. Was I just supposed to sit by the window and wait for you? Like, is that what you wanted me to like sit and wonder where you were? Like, I was coming back. I always come back.
I'm the boss, Rick Ross. Okay. Because listen, Echo shot you in the head.
Yeah.
We don't know. Okay. Yeah. Where you were coming back or not.
Yeah, I mean, you were out there in Oklahoma getting spirit healed by freaking Maya Lopez, who knew when you were coming back or how you're coming back or whatever. And I love how Heather's like, so who is Adam? Like, is Adam in the world, in Fisk's world of politics? Like, no. And they both are like, he's in the business world, and like it's like, oh, right. I think Heather knows like, oh, what business means. Oh, gotcha. You're like, well, he wasn't part of Fisk's business world. She's like, oh, okay, the business world.
I just absolutely love how Fisk thought he's such a politician, right? We just had a dialogue.
Yeah.
Because she never had the opportunity to end it, right? Heather goes, have you met? Like Adam, like, did you end it? Well, no. And then I said, oh, he's dead. He's gone. Because Fisk is like, we had a dialogue, a clarifying dialogue. No expression of ill intent. I couldn't fathom a life meaning without her, right? Like he's saying, look, he's such a politician.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's technically saying the truth. He is technically, he technically has not hurt Adam. He has not killed Adam. I have not killed him. He is not dead. That's all I'll say about that. I'll just say he's not dead. I didn't kill him. Basically, we had a talk, and we do see them later. they're talking. It's about the conditions in which they're talking that Wilson is not being forthright and honest about. It's just like, but we were talking. We were just talking. But I mean, you also didn't tell us that you were talking while he was locked up behind a makeshift prison you made for him. Like you conveniently left that part out. It's like, okay, we get it.
Yeah, I appreciated it. I thought, again, this is where like I think the show is doing really well, where they're able to give Fisk all of these amazing lines and he's able to like carry them to the end. All right, thank you. And while we're all just giggling, like kicking our feet up when he's talking about like murder. But
Yeah.
not actually, he didn't kill him.
Yeah, and I love it at the end of the session, Heather's like, "Hey, Van, let me talk to you over here for a second. Like, blink twice if you need help. Like, do I need to save you? Like, are you okay?" And Vanessa, gangster and G as she is, she's like, "Oh no, like Wilson's not gonna hurt me. Like, we're good on that front.
That girl, he loves me.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Exactly. So I love that Heather is realizing how much danger Fisk is in by these like veiled kind of like meanings of things he's saying. She's like, I don't know how I feel about this. So she's asked like, you okay, girl? You all right? Do I need to save you?
So good. And of course, after that, we then move to like Mayor Fisk, where he's able or he's mad because he's wanting to get things done quickly and efficiently. And if anyone has ever worked in government anything, you know that's delusion, because he's like, why I want to bring business back to the Red Hook port of New York, blah blah blah. And everyone's just like, well, you got to do this, and then you got to do this, and then you got to do this. And he's like, I'm about to kill all of you.
Oh, a businessman who knows nothing about politics wanting to come into politics and brute force his way into just doing things. Never seen that before.
Not me.
Yeah.
Not.
Total fiction. Just total. Sounds like superhero fiction. Stuff. Never seen that before.
It couldn't be me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Crazy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's just again, it's very funny to watch because this is happening. And meanwhile, obviously this happened at the start of the episode, but I wanted to bring it all together because our boy, Daniel.
Oh, Daniel.
Is loose lips sink ships.
Daniel has fallen for the honey trap 100%. He has fallen into the honey trap. There's honey all over him. He's rolling in the honey trap that he fell into with BB Yerk, because BB Yerk is playing this man for a fool. She's getting all the info out of Daniel that she needs. Like, I'm very curious now how that relationship is going to move forward, because obviously BB is hanging out with Daniel to get that info, and he just gives it to her just on a platter of like,
and I love that like he's just like really drunk at a club and just like yapping away.
Yep. You're like, yeah, Fisk, the union, we're not worried about that. We're gonna bring in some other company to do it. It's like BB's like, oh, really?
So he's a union buster.
Yeah, here's another shot. Say more about that.
Oh my god. So it's just, again, I really appreciate it because I think this is where like we're gonna get that crack with BB and with Daniel, but I wonder if like we get something bigger now from Daniel, because currently he's a bootlicker in charge, and like that's cute, but like come on.
And let me say, I really, really hope that we're not going down a path of like Daniel is becoming sort of like a mini Fisk, and he maybe like ends up killing BB or something like that. I really hope we're not going down that lane of stuff. So I really would like to stay away from that. But I love how like intrepid BB is with the way she's getting this info out of Daniel, because she knows what Daniel wants from her, and she's going to use that infatuation he has with her to her advantage. I love that for her.
And the thing is, I support women's rights and wrongs, and we got to take Kingpin down some way. So I think it like the Avengers, right? Everyone has to come together to defeat Thanos. Kingpin is too big, because now after, of course, he has to sit through this horrible 2 versions of We Built the City, because it is, remember, Latvian National Day.
I
That
I
Daredevil can
like
smell all
that
of
was so funny because we got the kid singing "We Built This City," and then he's just like, they take him somewhere else, and he's mad about
about the leak.
the
Yeah.
garbage thing, and then they take him into a building. He's like, where am I? Like, where even am I? Like, I don't even know where I am in this moment. And they tell him he's at the Latvian Heritage Day. He's like, basically like, why do I care about Latvians? I don't like who. Why
And
should
mind
I
you,
care?
he's saying this out loud.
Yeah, as he's like on the way to this like
Like he's just
ceremony.
up the stairs. Like it's not like he's in his car having this conversation.
Yeah, and so they like basically hog tie him into the ceremony
Yep.
where they sing "We Built This City" to him in Latvian. I was like, that is hilarious. I can just picture like Fisk like in the shower later that night, like just in the shower, like, we built this like, oh damn it, I got the song stuck in my head.
And then he's gonna break the whole.
Yeah, we built this city on rock. Oh no, it's stuck in my head now.
Oh my god, we need to clip this. This is how we promote the podcast. Uh, but no, and then poor Sheila, right, who is like his chief of staff type person, who is just like in shambles, irritated to be like, dude, just like do the work, okay? Like stop cut the crap.
Sheila is a career politician, a career like government worker. She knows the in and outs of everything. She knows how to get things done. Like she's telling Fist, like, okay, like, yeah, you want to fix Red Hook. That is great. That's awesome. That's fine and dandy. But you can't just go doing stuff. Like there's steps to this. There are levels to this. But again, yes, Fist doesn't know his way around government. That's true. But also at the same time, government is ridiculous because there's so many stupid little steps you got to take to get anything done. And as Fisk is like, no, I just want to like fix stuff. Like I just want to do stuff. And it's like, well, it's not that simple. You got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, that, and the other thing. And Fisk obviously like is way over his head, not realizing that there's actually bureaucracy to get through to do things. So it also shows again how flawed the system is, because just to do one thing, you got to do a million other little things to get there, and it takes so long to actually make change. But you know, she's on top of it, and Fisk is like, all right, so we have to do this. And she's like, well, to do that, you have to do this, and that. He's like, so we should do the first thing. We should do the thing to get it started, right? And she's like, yes, we will do that. That part of it. It gives a comedic kind of relief, right? Like the comedic relief to me is the Mayor Fisk stuff, which I don't feel like it should be a comedic type of thing. It feels like the tone just doesn't feel right to me.
And you know, and here's the thing, Fisk is pissed the hell off. All right, he is tired. Hell, they're putting this man through hell. He's trying to be good. Okay, even the food, he's trying to eat better food. No, but y'all keep every time I try to leave, right, something keeps pulling me back. Is what's happening.
Pulling me back. But like, you know, and the tone of Fisk feels so different from the Netflix shows to the Disney Plus, because the Disney Plus is kind of making him to be kind of like this comedic, somewhat buffoonish, funny character, when I don't feel like that's the Fisk that we've gotten in other iterations.
I think like this is where he is almost like, oh, you didn't know me. Like how I feel like parents are with their kids are like, you didn't know me in my gangster days. Like I'm crazy.
Yeah, like no, I'm really effed up. You don't want to you don't want to test me, because I will go there. I will go back to those days. But just like it feels so different from what we've experienced.
Yes. No, 1,000,000%. And here's where now, just to sum up, right? So now his marriage shambles, his criminal like little underlings shambles, and now he's Hulk smashing. Hulk is back, baby, because he's like Hulk smashing through his office. And we get like Daniel Blake is like, okay, it was me, I did it, blah blah blah, and Fisk is giving him another chance, but then we get the when I was a boy,
and
I said, oh, I thought he was gonna beat his ass.
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, we get the softer side of Fisk because
Yes.
Daniel's out here just spilling his guts. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, it was me. I had a bunch of drinks. I had some ketamine. I was like, oh my God, like a little TMI. And you just kind of see Fisk soften towards Daniel. I think he's starting to develop this kind of like fatherly affection
He needs
toward.
one.
Yeah, he's starting to develop this connection toward Dan. He's like, we all something about being a better man or whatever. It's like, but like, you keep messing up. It's the last thing you'll ever do. It's like, oh, okay, there's a little bit of Kingpin sliding through out of the Wilson Fisk. Like, all right, like I'm gonna give you another chance, but don't f up again because you'll be in the concrete of whatever thing I'm building in Red Hook if you f up again in this way. It's like, okay, there's a little bit of that Kingpin shining through.
Yeah, but and then he's gonna probably go back down to Adam and beat his ass again.
Like, don't worry, Daniel. I won't take my frustrations out on you about you messing up. I'll take it out on Adam. They're like, who's Adam? Don't worry about it.
Did I didn't ask you what the hell you were doing. I forgave you, right? So shut up. Oh my God. So again, I really enjoyed all of this. And we're gonna give him another chance. But I just know this is gonna come back really bad. Really, really bad.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how Daniel approaches BB next because BB is the one that that snitched and gave all the information. So I can't wait to see what the next interaction is.
He's gonna be like, don't make me do you like I did your uncle.
Yeah, Fisk. I mean, I'm still waiting for that shoe to drop. I don't know if that shoe will ever drop, but I'm just
no. I think that's just the we know it.
Yeah.
Yep. And then, of course, from all of that, now we get to our final, like the crescendo, right? Because it's been teased, right? We're getting a lot of really interesting graffiti work as well in all of these episodes where we have like a split of old Kingpin where or Fisk, I don't know how people want to say, where he's a little bigger with like then the other half of him is like much skinnier, and like it's like, oh, is that duality of like him trying to be good, trying to be bad? And we know like art is huge in the storyline anyway for the Fisk and in this show anyway. Plus we get the biggest one where we see the Punisher statue, the Punisher artwork or graffiti, and it's Punisher skull, but then it's dripping down. And what I saw in, of course, other YouTube channels also mentioned that it was dripping down into the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, there's a lot of like symbolism and and stuff like and listen to, also take note, all these are signed by Muse. These are Muse graffiti art. So it's kind of like already introducing Muse without introducing Muse by showing some of his artwork and how he does that. We will see later how he gets his paints, as you can say, of how he constructs his art. But yeah, I thought that was interesting, kind of like giving kind of like a pseudo introduction to Muse without actually introducing Muse. So that was great. Like they have the Punisher logo and it's like triggered inside the logo.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, oh, that's pretty cool because it's a lot of triggering happening with the Punisher stuff.
Yep. And listen, let's get to it. All right, we buried the lead enough, no pun intended, because Matt Murdock again is on his lawyer shit, and he's like, great, if you aren't gonna find the bullet, I am. He immediately finds the shell casing, and he just puts his hand down a New York City drain.
Yeah, no problem. Like, sir, did you wash your hands? Like, I feel like the first thing he should have done when he found Frank was like, do you have a sink I can wash my hands in? Because I just put my hand in the sewer grate. But I love the kind of ingenious way that he discovered the bullet, right? Because he's trying to listen in. He's trying to figure out what could have happened to the shell casing that ejected when Hector was shot. I don't know why he doesn't assume someone would have just taken the casing with them, but whatever. He kind of like
they're dumb.
Yeah, for sure. He like tips over like a little bottle of liquor or whatever, and he hears how what would happen if like a cylindrical item falls and how it rolls, where it goes, and he follows that to the sewer grate to find the bullet case. Like that's a pretty awesome use of his powers. I love when they show things like that. What and how he uses his power to basically do detective work.
And I skipped over it. Sorry, but in the court scene, because speaking of use of his power was in the court scene when he leaves court, right? That crooked cop is back, and he's basically like, "We got to stop meeting like this, because I'm gonna fuck you up again." And the cop like puts his badge right in Matt Murdock's chest, kind of like again the system putting its weight on Daredevil or Matt Murdock and feeling the pressure right in that way was interesting because you could tell he's lying because we hear the heartbeat and
Well,
we know the lie detector, Matt.
actually, this I think
Is
Powell the cop is actually telling the truth in this moment.
okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
because
got
like you said,
it.
Matt runs into Powell, and he kind of
Mhm.
like I think Matt is trying to test Powell in this moment to be like he's trying to like rile him up and like
Yeah.
talk about Hector like yeah you like what you did to Hector's kind of effed up like you wanted to silence him because he kind of embarrassed you, and then
Mhm.
Powell gets all indignant, throws Matt up against the wall. He's like, listen, like me, my brothers, my cousins, we're all cops, blah 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 blah, and I'll let you, like I had nothing to do with that Hector Ayala thing. And Matt is listening to his heartbeat, and the heartbeat is pretty steady. Like it's there's no rise, there's no craziness. So I think Matt in that moment is like, oh, interesting. Powell didn't do this. So
Yeah.
like that leaves us with a whole bunch of other questions like who did? If it wasn't Powell, is it just other cops? Is it what is it? Is this is this a thing by Vanessa? Is Vanessa up to something? Is Fisk doing this? We don't know. But what we can figure out is Powell didn't do this. I also love their standoff because Powell's like, listen, I'm not going to do anything to you, but like I got other friends out there that
He's a blue blood family.
yeah, I don't know, bro. Like my over eager colleagues might have something to say about this. And Matt's like, that's cool. Just make sure they bring more people than last time we tangled. It's like, oh shit. Matt said bring your
He
whole
did the
set.
thing. Bring them
Yeah.
all.
Matt said bring your whole set because last time I straightened both y'all jokers out. So you got to bring more than you
It was
brought last
too
time, buddy.
easy.
I was like,
Yep.
damn. I love that from Matt. I love the characterization of Matt. Like that's one of the strong points of this series. Charlie Cox has done such great work as Matt Murdock. Like you can tell the continuity that Charlie Cox feels with Matt because Matt feels like such a lived-in character. Like
Mhm.
he is so like swaggerific when he needs to be. Like we talked about with the Sonya thing, we talked about in this interaction where he's just kind of like he has this bravado of Matt Murdock, of a Daredevil that feels like from the comics. So I
Mhm.
love how Charlie Cox personifies Matt, and the writing for Matt is also really really
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah. Agree. And again, like I think there's a lot of really interesting symbolism in addition to that. It's just let's give us some space to like
Mm-hmm.
sit with it and actually like see it all.
Yeah.
Instead of just bam, bam, bam. But it's fine. All right. Because now we found the bullet and duh, it has an off-brand ordered from Wish, Timu, whatever you want to say, Punisher logo on it.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you know what, it's time. I just gotta go back. All right. And we knew what was coming. There's no enough because you can't make us wait anymore. I will fight you.
Yes. And I have so many questions right after this because Matt seems to know exactly where he's going. Matt's like, all right, bet. Punisher logo, I gotta go talk to the Punisher. And I love the moment where like
Oh, so good.
he's doing his blind thing. He goes into the building. He's like, all right, I can get rid of the blind like walking stick. He's like hopping over railings. He's like, okay, that's the
I'm not
Daredevil
waiting
Matt.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, like no one's watching me. I can do my thing. And like Matt just makes a total beeline for where Frank is. So for me, I'm just like, okay, like how does he know where Frank is? What is the relationship
Yeah,
between
that
Frank
was
and
my
Matt right
biggest
now?
question.
Yeah, so can he smell the Punisher? Does he know Frank's scent? And he just like goes straight to him. I'm just like, how does
That's how
Matt
he
know
knows
where
the
Frank
bullet
is?
isn't his, because even through the, like, shit of New York City sewer,
Uh
he
huh.
knows.
Nah, I don't smell Frank on this. I don't smell Frank's scent on
Couldn't
this
be
bullet
it.
casing. It's not Frank. But yeah, he just makes a total beeline for where Frank is, so he knows exactly where Frank is. It kind of tells me like in the time since we last saw Matt slash Daredevil,
Mhm.
maybe Matt and Frank have had some other interactions, and Matt knows where Frank's like base operations is. So I'm very curious about like that story if there is one, or if they're just going to like leave it for open to interpretation.
Yeah, it's just it, and their meeting was so emotional
Yeah.
because this is where I was okay with the lack of writing because I think we finally get a space for Matt to like have a mirror and like and have someone like feel deep feelings and they're both able to like go there and we they talk about like we already like brought this up because it's too big, but the punish like what the hell has this man been doing? Does he have a job? How what is like
Is
he's stealing fiddle faddle?
is he the super for this building? Is that why he's like in the
Oh,
basement?
fair.
It's like I gotta go fix Miss Patterson's toilet up in 5B. Like, what is he doing down here in this basement? But I mean, listen, he has like behind, like, you know, we get Matt entering, we get
Mhm.
Frank being like, oh, like going after Matt. Like Matt's
And
like
that's the
me.
first thing we hear, of course.
Yeah, Frank's like Matt's like it's me, it's Matt, it's Matt. He's like, oh, it's you, Red. But then we
And then when
see
he said red, I said, "Oh, we said the thing."
oh, he said red. So we see how Frank is living, and Matt
Mhm.
makes like these illusions. He's like, "Hey, you're down here, like, hole up in this basement. You're not out there on the streets." I'm just like, again, I'm just like, what is Frank doing? Why is Frank holed up in this place? What has he been up to? We see a whole bunch of like, we see a big, basically a big ass like collage of, I don't know, suspects, people he's looking for. There's like a lot going on behind Frank and what he's been up to. There's like circuit boards all over the place. I was like, what's going on with Frank? Now, interestingly enough, in the real world, we've heard a little bit about some of the behind the scenes of this show because apparently in the original conceit of the show, they went to oh my god, what is the actor that plays Frank Castle?
Oh, John Bernthal.
John Bernthal. Why did I blank on
Mhm.
that? John
Oh,
Bernthal. They went to John Bernthal
yes.
like, listen, we want you to come back, be Frank Castle, be Punisher. This is what we're thinking
Mhm.
of for this original conceit of the show. John Bernthal looks at this, looks at what they want him to do, and he's like, nah, like I'm good. Like I'm Gucci. Like this here, what you're telling me, what you want to do with Frank, I am not for it. So I
Yep.
mean, that again talks to the fact that like whatever the original plan for the show was not good. Multiple people have looked at the original plan like that ain't good. I'm not doing that. So he walked away. He's like, no,
Yes.
I'm not bringing Frank back. And that's what you're planning to do with Frank. Whatever it was they're planning on doing. And so then the overhaul happened. They actually, one of the executive producers on this version of Daredevil is the executive producer of the original Punisher stuff. So that is also a thing that made John Bernthal say, okay, I'll come back. Like, I think John Bernthal even helped write parts of this version of Frank. We know that Frank Castle is going to have his own little Disney Plus special, which John
Mhm.
Bernthal had a huge hand in writing. So we know there's a lot that had to happen to get John Bernthal back as Frank. And this scene here is monumental because you can feel the chemistry between John Bernthal, Charlie Cox, between Frank and Matt, whatever
Yeah.
you want to say. If that like, and I said when John Bernthal first got cast, when we first saw John Bernthal, like I did not understand how perfect of a casting that was until I saw it in action. Like I've enjoyed John Bernthal as originally we saw him in The Walking Dead as Shane. He was
Mhm.
so good in that. It was like I didn't know how perfect of a casting that was until it happened. It was like, oh my god! Like when you see him in action as Frank, it's perfect, and he plays
Wow.
it. He
Yeah.
plays it here with such great emotion, with such great like with heartfelt gravitas, and he has these moments of rage, and then he goes back and has these moments of like quiet, like thoughtful emotion with Matt here. Like the range here is so fantastic. But let's get through. Let's go through like
Yes.
enough praising of John Bernthal. Let's get through the actual conversation.
No, it's and they immediately, right, talk about
Mhm.
Foggy.
Yeah,
And we're
because
just like, "Ah, oh my god, why?"
yeah, and it's like so like I kind of just want this show to give me what I want. I'm like, listen, I want Frank to take these MFers down immediately. That's kind of what I was expecting. I was expecting Matt to come in
Mhm.
here and be like, yo, Frank, people are using your logo to kill people. And Frank's like, oh, hell no. Like, I'm gonna take these MFers down. What do we get? Frank's like, goddamn fanboys, right? Oh, that's crazy,
Like, "Oh,
Red.
shucks.
Yeah,
Someone
well,
gotta stop 'em."
man, someone should do something. It's like, damn, I was hoping you would do something. So I mean, like, and like last week we had a commenter on YouTube.
Yes.
Barbie Jackson 717.
Shout out to Barbie.
Shout out. And part of their thoughts was talking about the fact that, like, hey, like, I think Matt is going to go back to hell to find Punisher so he can come regulate all these masquerading zealots. I can't wait to watch the Punisher rip those tattoos right off their bodies. Let's go. Same sentiment I had. I was like, yes, let's go. Let's do it. I can't wait to see the Punisher take these people down. But what do we get? Oh, well. That sucks. I'm here in my basement.
This is why he probably didn't want to come back to the show. Because he's like, what do you mean I just say, oh, for Christ's sake, a bunch of bullshit fanboy.
Yeah, like, oh, well, somebody should do something, right? It's like, so that disappointed me. But I think by the end of this, Frank gets a look on his face. He's like, I don't know. You guys should do something about this. I feel like we definitely are going to see Frank again this season. I don't know in what capacity, but I was just kind of ready for Frank to be like, all right, F these people. I'm going to go get them. But he didn't do that, which kind of disappointed me a little bit. But it's made up for in the conversation they have about Foggy, because Frank is Frank's like, listen, bro, like, you didn't come here like to get my help. Like,
and that was huge.
Yeah. He calls Matt out on his bullshit. Like, he's like, you didn't come here to ask me for help. You came here
and not for no bullet casing. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, you came here for my permission so you can hurt people. So you can go back to doing what you wanted to do, which is, you know, dressing up in Halloween costume, beating up bad guys, is what Frank says to him. And Matt's
put your little horns back on.
Yeah, and Matt's just like, oh, how dare you? Like,
he's like, what? Ooh.
Me? No way. And Frank is like pushing him and pushing him and pushing him. He's like, this isn't about like some cops or whatever. This is about Foggy. This is about your guy. Like you didn't save your guy, Red. You didn't save your guy. And it's almost like Matt kind of takes on this like Hulk persona. Right?
Yes.
It feels like the way that the Hulk would react if someone was like trying to get him to turn to the Hulk.
Well, and like, or how Red Hulk, right? Or President Ross.
Yeah.
Where he was on the phone with our supreme leader. And he's like, you want to come out.
Yeah.
You want to do it.
It's like, don't make me mad. You won't like me when I'm mad. And like,
and both Red characters, that's funny. But
yeah, that's fine. Like, Matt snaps and like, bitch slaps Frank. And then he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, because he's like giving in to his darker desires, like by utilizing violence, because he's promised himself so hard that he's not going to go back to that world. And then when he momentarily snaps and goes back there, it's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's like he's trying to calm the Hulk inside of him. He's trying to not turn into the Hulk. That was so fascinating to me. And you know, Matt and Frank is just like, say his name. You know, you need to say his name. You need to let it out, Red. He's like, I can smell the shame and the guilt all over you.
Nuts, right? When he says, oh my God. And then I was like, oh, isn't Daredevil the one with all the, right? Like all these extra abilities, but he's not able to do it for himself. And again, like we said, so he needs someone to like be the mirror back to him. And when he said, I smell it on you, I can see why he got smacked.
Yeah. Like, you know, and Matt snaps and, you know, he says, you know, it's about Foggy, right? Like, you know, that's what this is about. Matt says, no, it's not about him. It's not about him. He's like, yeah. It's like, yeah, Red, it is. It's like, and then like Frank is like, yeah, you hear him like I hear my little boy in the silence.
Yes.
And he's saying, go get him, Daddy. Every time he's saying, go get him, do what you do. I was like, whoa, like that hit me like a ton of bricks. And he was like, and then he like basically takes Matt to task for not killing Bullseye, for not taking care of Bullseye, and Matt's trying to justify it. Matt's just like, no, like Bullseye's in prison for life. Like, I let the system do what it's gonna do. Like, you know, he got life. And Frank's like, oh, he got life. He's on the chow line. He's being taken care of by the state. But what about Foggy? Did Foggy get life? I was like, oh my God, bro. Like, this is heavy stuff. Like, no, Foggy got death. Foggy don't got no life. And I was like, well, and it's so interesting because Matt is trying to justify this. He's saying, I ran him down. He's got life. But Matt, you low key did try and kill Bullseye in that moment. Like, let's not forget. I feel like he jumped out. Yeah, I feel like he's not admitting that to Frank in this moment. He's like, Like,
But Frank knows, you know what I mean? I think this is where that's why he literally said, "I smell it on you," because probably he knows that he is one, Daredevil is capable of doing that one, and secondly, now he knows he wants to go back there
yeah,
because you almost killed him.
And it's like that moment, that conversation was so like cathartic. Like Frank was like Matt's therapist in this moment. It was
Yeah.
so wild. And you know, Matt talks about Foggy. He's like, listen, like Foggy was the kindest person I ever met. Like
Mhm.
me and you can do anything in our lives. We will never measure up to Foggy's decency. And like, you know, Matt just like he leaves, and you just see that moment from Frank where he's just like thinking. He's like, what do I do now? Like, what's happening now? Maybe he's hearing his son in that moment, but like, go get him, daddy. Like, basically, go get these bastards that are
And
using
can you
your
oh my
logo.
god, terrible to just say, like, I hear his voice all the
Yeah.
time. What a easy, heart-wrenching line.
Yes. So like that we're probably gonna get Punisher again. I hope we get Punisher
Oh, hell
regulating
yeah,
on
because
these
he said, "I'm
fools.
plotting my neck," and that's the next thing where, Frank is very much, like, become the slow simmer, right? Where he says, "Oh, you wanna go out on the street, go have it, but I don't have time for your candy ass hero shit," and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah."
I'm
And
wondering if like Frank is working on something, and maybe
yeah,
this
because
is what we'll
Matt
see on.
asks.
Yeah, because it seems like
Yeah.
Frank's got his own thing going on right now, and I was wondering if that Disney Plus special we're going to get at some point later is about whatever mission Frank is currently on. So
Yeah.
I'm very curious about, because they seem to really kind of leave us in the dark in terms of what is Frank doing? Why is Frank so busy? What is Frank
We
busy
just know
doing?
he's plotting his next kill.
Yeah, it seemed like he had a mission he was working on.
And he
So
had a murder board in the back,
yeah,
so
for sure. He had a whole bunch of stuff going on. So maybe that's what the Disney Plus
Mhm.
special will be about. But it seems like he's maybe thinking about taking up this cop Punisher thing by
Yep.
the end of his conversation with Matt. Like, maybe I got time, Red, for a little payback, a little punishment, if you will. So but it is kind of like, it's kind of fitting for what this show has been this season, right? Of like, we know what you want, but we're not gonna give it to you yet. You want Daredevil, you're gonna have to wait for him. You wanted Foggy and Karen back, you got him back, but Foggy's dead and Karen's gone. You wanted to see Punisher, here he is. He's not gonna do his Punisher stuff, but he's here. It's like,
He's gonna say candy ass and
yeah, just give me what I want, show. Give me what I want. Give me Daredevil in his costume. Give me Punisher pumping holes in the bad guys. Give me all that good stuff. But you're not giving it.
costume, you say? Because I do have a costume to end.
Yeah, listen. It seems like by the end of this, we're getting there. I'm waiting. Hopefully episode 5 is the episode. But yeah, let's get there, because
Listen,
this
because
is
you
fantastic.
asked for costume, and now it's time
Yeah,
for Muse to enter the scene. We've been talking about him. I think you and I already hypothesized it has to be that creepy kid from episode 1 or
yeah,
2.
definitely.
Like, please, impossible. It's not him. I like, be serious. And who is again the evil guy from Wednesday? Like I said, so most likely it's him. But even if we don't know, we just see like a creepy, horrible Muse where he's there before the episode title sequence begins, and then he's there at the end again, where he's carrying an unconscious man on the subway, and now, and we're just like, okay, maybe that's Muse, right? Like it has to be. And then we see him at the end with like he's a villain entering a lair. His death room, if you're a Dexter fan. Uh, and he, as the victim, unfortunately, is waking up. There's like horrible shit all around, bodies hanging, artwork, disgusting stuff. And then we see that the ink is actually blood.
Yeah. And listen, I love the way they did the Muse costume.
Yeah, no notes. No notes.
It looks so creepy. It looks so the adaptation from comic to screen
Yes.
is so great. Like the fact that when he breathes, you can see the mask like breathing in and out. I was like, that is so
And
freaking creepy.
and the way it gives you all the chills. Like what? Maybe his stuff was like 2 minutes max, like the whole from start to finish.
Mhm.
But when I tell you it's nightmare fuel, and we didn't even hear much from him, we just hear the victim.
Yeah, we didn't hear much at all because he doesn't talk at all. You just see him
Yeah.
breathing in and out. You just see his
Ooh.
mask moving. It's like, ooh, that's creepy as hell. You see like the what looks like to be blood around the eyes streaming down. It's like, ooh, like this is creepy.
Yeah.
I hope they do justice to the character because
Me
Muse
too.
Muse in the comics, like he does have this arc and he is very impactful in his arc. He's not like a huge Daredevil villain. He's a recent Daredevil villain, but he definitely made an impact when he came on the scene in the comics. So I hope they really do justice to the character, which I feel like they really will, especially given what we've already seen with the bodies hanging and the blood with the ink. So I can't wait to see what they do with him and how he's going to incorporate into the rest of the season. It feels like they're doing a slow burn to Muse because it feels like maybe this is a back half of season 1, maybe the last
I
2 or 3
think,
episodes thing.
yeah, I
Because
think he's gonna come soon because because we've established now multiple times that the system is broken. Frank and Matt are being pulled back into their old life, right? Like we saw the painting, right? At Fisk's resident, the Rabbit in Snowstorm, I think it's called.
Yeah.
So it's just feel like enough with the setup. It's pew pew time. And
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
Muse is literally gonna like bulldoze his way into getting them to do that. And I wonder what that means because now New York City is effed up, right? Like we get a bunch of BB reports where people are pissed at Fisk being like, he's a scandal after scandal. That's all he's good for. And we know like everything now Frank has pushed out of Matt Murdock. They are so close to returning to their old ways.
Yeah.
Well,
And
let's come on.
yeah, it seems like Fisk stuff has maybe resulted in like a trash strike because all the BB report
Right.
stuff has just like bags of trash everywhere. So that's funny. But yeah, like I can't wait for Muse. And then yeah, let's get to this last like scene with Fisk and Matt and what they're doing because that's very interesting.
I'm excited again. Like talking through this episode, like made me feel happier. Like and I was like, okay, I understand a little bit better why what happened when. But I'm still like, enough with the bullshit. Let's get it started.
Yeah.
All right. Come
But
on.
yeah, let's talk a little bit about this like
Yes.
the dark sides of Matt and
Yeah.
Fisk because Matt comes home from a long day at work. Him and Heather are getting together.
Mhm.
Heather references her clients, right? And we get the talk like, okay, yeah, I get it. You can't tell me who your clients are, but it's like, oh man, if you only knew who Heather was talking about. They have a little dalliance, if you will.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Matt is still awake after doing the bang thing with Heather. And he's like, let me go get some fun in. Let me go to some recreation time. We see him get up, see him go to the roof. Like, oh, what we do on the roof? He goes to the little storage shed up on the roof. I don't know how he has Bruce Wayne, the Batman, Batcave, this thing, but he pulls apart something, and we see this presentation of all his Daredevil cowls, all his Daredevil masks. I'm like, ooh, you know me. I'm just like, ooh, it's the fighting of Daredevil.
They've been playing us with that little ass horn over and over again.
Yeah. So we get a lot of Daredevil masks. I don't think we've seen all the masks actually been like in action. I think these are all masks he's collected over his time. Because I feel like there's a lot of Daredeviling we kind of have skipped over because there was a year's gap in story in what we see. So Matt had been Daredeviling all along, and he's collected different colors of masks. We see the ketchup and mustard mask I hate so much.
Your
He uses
favorite.
She-Hulk. Yeah, my fave. We've seen the other masks he's used in the other series. It's like that's great. And then he gets his freaking batons out, his freaking cable gun or whatever the heck you want to call it, and he's like, he is practicing with this thing. Like he is getting back.
He's like on the Amazing Grace, ready to be a ninja.
Yeah, I don't know if this is something he does on the regular to like, kind of go back into
like
that.
Very on the nose of he is getting to where he needs
He's
to
like,
be.
listen, I think I got it. I think I might have to come back. Like, they keep asking me if I'm back. I think I'm back. He's John Wick in this shit. He's just like, he's flicking his little cable thing around. I was like, oh yeah. I was rubbing my hands. I was like, oh yeah, we're getting the Daredevil back. We getting Daredevil back.
Like, I was just like, do we have more time? Can we get some jumpy?
Yeah, he's like flicking the baton around. He's pulling behind his back. I'm like, yeah, here we go. And then, and this is all intercut between Matt and Fisk. We see Fisk as Matt goes up to his roof. Fisk is going down into his lair, and this is a lair.
When they go low, we go lower, baby.
Yeah, if there was ever a lair, this is a lair. Yes. This is a freaking lair. This is like the Red Room. This is like a 50 Shades of Grey.
Ooh, I like that.
This is where he goes to get freaky deaky. This is where he goes his freak off the leash, right? Because up above, on the surface, right? He's Mayor Fisk. He's on his diet. He's trying to live by the law. He's trying to live by the rules, kinda. But now he goes down to the depths of his lair. And this is where he gets off the chain. Like you said, we see the rabbit in the snowstorm painting with the blood stain still on it from the last time we saw that painting where Matt beat the shit out of Fisk, and that's Fisk's blood on that painting. You see the painting.
He said they will never catch me slipping again.
The painting is hanging up in his lair. He goes to sit down. He has this I don't even know what this is, like sausage and like pasta, like all the greasy.
Because he's been eating clean up until this moment.
Well, and listen, we don't know how long Fisk has been doing this.
Oh, fair. Like, is he eating his stuff down there like in shame, but then the stuff he's eating upstairs is like the good stuff? Okay, I like that. I think of that. Again, I was a very basic he's changing.
Yeah, this is where he can be the Fisk of old. This is where he allows himself to be that old Fisk, right? Because he's eating the junk, he's eating the terrible food, that's the greasy, fatty food that's bad for him. And then what do we see? We see a man in a cage pleading with Fisk to let him go. And this is Adam. It's like, oh my god, like this is the man. He's pleading for his life. Please, Mr. Fisk, please. He's like, actually, it's Mayor Fisk. He's like, please let me go, please.
And I said, not you name it. Here's the thing, Jason, and tell me if I'm wrong. If I'm taken like that, I'm finding a way to end myself because I just don't. This person's not letting me go.
Yeah, I don't know what awfulness he's been subjecting Adam to. From what I saw, Adam's hands are rough for some reason. I
would know Fisk's hand to shambles.
Yeah, I don't know if Fisk has been punching Adam. It didn't seem like Adam's face was too beat up. So I don't know what's been happening, but it seems like Adam's hands are rough.
Here's the question: do you think he's not messed him up so bad just yet? Because again, he's in I'm trying to be good era.
Yeah, he's maybe playing with his food because maybe he is not directly doing something to Adam. Because in that therapy, he's like, I am just having a dialogue with Adam. Yeah. I'm only talking to him. And maybe he is only talking to Adam. He's letting somebody else beat the crap out of Adam.
Yeah, a real Red Room behavior. Yeah, watching someone else do.
Yeah. And maybe in the next episode, we'll see exactly how what Kingpin is doing to Adam, because Adam's hands seem to be a little messed up. So I don't know because Vanessa was talking about the fact that Adam is such a great artist. He works with his hands, so it wouldn't surprise me Fisk likes to gets off on watching someone smash Adam's hands like that. That's something that Vanessa, what do you think of his hands now?
Or
Vanessa,
maybe binds them, doesn't let him move around with it, right? Oh my god,
maybe so I don't know, but this was so thrilling.
Making him pick up garbage. No, I'm just kidding.
This is so thrilling to see this Fisk is a freak in the sheets, he's doing stuff behind the scenes that's still old Fisk. So he's not
Vanessa, don't play me.
Yeah, we've seen minor things that he's done to show us that beneath the surface he is still that Kingpin. This is the biggest stuff he's done to be no, you are still
I'm so Jenny from the block. Yeah.
Man, so don't let the facade fool you. You're still doing some heinous stuff. So I love that, and it really kind of signifies to me that we might be on our way back
Yes.
to what we knew before. We've had a journey to get our characters back to their true natures. They've been trying to stay away from their true nature.
You know what else is interesting as to why like the show is showing the both of them on this journey is because at the start, right, episode 1, when they meet at the diner, they Daredevil says, when you slip up, I'll be there. Yeah. Right, Matt Murdock, sorry, says that to Fisk. So I wonder if like Fisk had to go bad, and that is going to be the final. Like they can't survive without each other moment.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what their collision course is going to be like. What is that inciting
so like
incident?
What's their intersection? But this has to be it, that Matt finds out he's acting up.
Yeah, possibly. What is that inciting incident that brings everyone into the know, into like, oh, like Daredevil's back. Yeah. Mayor Fisk is not like Mayor Fisk, he's still Kingpin. I've been rather surprised that Matt has kind of stayed away from the Mayor Fisk stuff. He hasn't really gone back to that topic since the first episode where he did confront Fisk, where he was upset that Fisk is mayor. He hasn't really talked about it much after that. So I can't wait to see what that, like, where they collide and how that happens. I think that's part of the tension, part of the buildup of the show is getting us to that point. It just, to me, it's taken a long time. The season's halfway over. Like, I would have loved this to be the ending of an episode 2, right? Like, to get this to this point sooner, where they're starting to fall back into their truer desires and truer instincts of being Daredevil and Kingpin. Like, enough of Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk. Let's get back to Daredevil and Kingpin. So it seems like we're going on to that track, hopefully in episode 5.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Let's get back to normal.
Yeah, let's get back there. I want to see some Daredevil. I want to see some Daredevil beating some ass. I want to see Punisher taking down the bad guys. That's what I came here for. That's what I would like to see. I appreciate the look into the duality of man, into the nuance of who we are as human beings, and the social commentary of it all. But listen, I did come here to see some crime fighting, ass busting. I did come here for that as well. So give that to me. I'm ready for it.
Yep. It's gonna get crazy. And I'm ready. Anything else, Jason?
No, I think we hit on pretty much everything. So we'll see where we go from here. I do know we're getting a 2-episode drop at some point.
Yes, I think that's next week.
Next week we're getting 2 episodes.
5 and 6 is the
2-episode drop. Okay, so that'll be interesting. Yeah,
which I also, again, a big proponent. I think that 2 episodes make it better. Like, we get a little bit of both.
Yes.
So episodes 5 and 6 will air March 25th.
Yep, exactly. Yep. So we'll see. We got 2 episodes to cover. I think I think by the end of episode 6, we might be in a whole new world. We might be right back in there, right back into the Daredevil of it all. So can't wait to break it down with you next week.
Yep, we better, and I'm excited. I hope you get the costume of your dreams. That's all I hope for. Okay. Perfect. So thank you everyone for listening. Again, thank you for interacting with us in our comments on We Know Scripted TV's YouTube channel. You can leave us a 5-star review on We Know Scripted TV or We Know Marvel. Listen, what you want. We got different options. All right. And with that, Jason, where can the people find you?
If you want to hit me on social media, I am at JR33D on Blue Sky. As far as other podcast content, I am on the Love at First Sight feed on Rob Has a Podcast. At the other side of this channel, the reality TV side of Rob Has a Podcast, I'm on the Love at First Sight feed talking about Married at First Sight with Asia Welch. We love talking about that show. This season is winding down, season 18. It has been drama and mess filled. It's been fun. You can also find me on my podcast, The Good Pod, where me and Marissa Garza talk about the show The Good Wife and the Good Wife related properties, including Elsbeth, which is currently in its 2nd season. I was also on the Silent Podcast Network talking to Gia Worthy about episode 3 of Survivor. Episode 4 of Survivor just came out yesterday, but you can see episode if you want to hear about episode 3, you can hear about the last episode too. So you can hear me talking about that recently just came out. So yeah, that's it for me, Sasha. What about you?
Yes. Of course, I am talking pop culture, all the drama. There's so much Haley Bieber, Selena Gomez drama. So we are talking all of this over on Mess Magnets. So check out messmagnets.com. Taryn and I are talking jet lag. So listen, 2 episodes are already out. Go over to Rob as a podcast and check that out on the YouTube channel again. And I was guesting on the B&B last week, so that was fun. If you still care about that, go and check that out. I know it's like an episode behind, and I will be, or it's already out on 90 Day Fiance this week. Honestly, I'm truly enjoying this season, so it was a fun time talking to Puya. So check that out. Yeah, and for everything else, just follow me on Blue Sky. Thank you everyone for listening. Bye.